Welcome to Digimon.
Hello and welcome to Digimon and welcome to another deck profile. If you're liking this sort of content, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel and ding that notification bell so you're not missing out on any of the latest content. Now, we are looking at a deck that I was umming and ahhing about covering because it's probably more applicable to talk about it in BT20, but it's a list I've been playing a lot, it's a list I want to talk about, and I want to talk about the hypothetical things that are coming very soon to the deck. Strap on in, it's Omnimon today. So starting with the eggs for Omnimon, we're going with the BT14 Coromon, of course, to get more of our draw. Need I say more on that one? Another main reason I want to just quickly diverge, I want to cover this one, is we did actually get a couple of little updates from LM in this set. We've also got the Omnimon, of course, from BT17. Start of main, this guy helps you get your, if you've got Tamer in play, of course, lets you return one card with Garurumon, Greymon, or Omnimon in its name from your trash to the hand. So if any of your kind of necessary pieces have ended up in the trash, you can grab them from there and add them to your hand, which is great. And it also has an end of turn effect. This Digimon and another of your Digimon may DNA Digivolve into a Digimon card in the hand. So obviously this allows you to do your full Omnimon combo at the end of your turn, and so does Gabumon. Gabumon has the same inheritable, but instead of doing the trash effect, what he does is start of main phase. If you have a Tamer with Matt Ishtar in its name, draw one. So it just gets you a little bit more consistency there. Both can Digivolve on top of the Coromon, no problems. Both really great for the deck. Then we've got 4 copies of the BT12 Omnimon. I've put this one in here because of the fact it searches most of our pieces. The only things it doesn't search, of course, is the Garurumon stuff. Reveal top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 Digimon card with Greymon or Omnimon in its name, and 1 Tamer with Tamer in its name among them to your hand, and place the rest at the bottom of your deck. So it does a really good job of kind of searching for some of those pieces. And then also has the alternate effect of while this Digimon has Greymon or Omnimon in its name, it gets 1000 DP. So it just gives you a little tiny boost with your bigger dudes. I did used to play some of the black rookies from EX4 in Omnimon, mainly the Gabumon I was playing for a long time, but I've since taken it out because we've gotten some other ways of being able to search our Garurumon pieces, and I just found sometimes with those ones what they would do is if they whiffed, they would just put all of the stuff that you don't want on the top of the deck, which really is not good. For this deck, we want to be cycling through as much as possible, as quickly as possible. So if we've had times where maybe we did a search where we needed 2 different pieces at the same time, but we could only grab one, then we can quickly cycle through the deck again to find what we need, later down the line, rather than kind of stalling ourselves with those kind of search effects. Then our 1 level 4 is the BT17 Greymon, of course. If he's got Coromon in his name, which we'll get to that, this Digimon gets 3000 DP for the turn. Then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with as much or less DP as that Digimon, as this Digimon. Sorry. And all turns, he gains the name of all level 3 or lower cards in the Digivolution stack. So if it's got an Ogumon underneath it, it becomes Ogumon. If it's got Coromon underneath it, it becomes Coromon. If you've got Gabumon underneath it, it becomes Gabumon, which is really funny for very specific reasons. But he's also got an on-deletion effect, which he shares as the inheritable as well, which is you may play 1 Tamer card with Tamer or Kari Kamiya in its name from your hand without paying the cost, or hatch in the breeding area. And I used to always fall into the trap of, playing the Tamer is the good thing to do. And sometimes it is, don't get me wrong. But actually, do not sleep on that hatching potential, because what you can do there is if you die and you've got nothing out, you can hatch, and then you can just start building back in the back, building in the back again, ready for the next turn, rather than having to wait until the next breeding phase for an egg. So gauge it on the situation. If sometimes the tempo of the game will dictate, whether or not you want that Tamer out, or whether or not you want, a new egg in the breeding area. Sometimes, genuinely, I find it's better to go for the hatch and then hard play the Tamer, just because, you want to keep up that tempo. But just gauge it on the situation. Then going into our level 6s, we'll cover the BT17 stuff first. We've of course got 4 copies of the War Greymon. When this card will be played, if you have a Tamer with Tamer in its name, reduce the play cost by 3. So really, really good, kind of making itself cheaper just by the fact of Tai being in play. And then on play, when Digivolving, activate one of the effects below. You either delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 8000 DP or less, Or one of your Gabumon may Digivolve into a Metal Garurumon in the hand, ignoring its Digivolution cards requirements and without paying the cost. So it just lets you warp your Gabumon, which is really nice. And then has a when attacking inheritable of if this Digimon has Omnimon in its name, you trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So you swing in, you trash, and then you do your check as well. Not bad at all. Then the Metal Garurumon from BT17 works in a similar vein. Also has that cost reduction effect, so you play it out for 8. And then has that same warping effect, but obviously this time for Ogumon going into War Greymon. And then instead of the deletion effect, one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers can't suspend until the end of the turn, which is really handy. Also has an inheritable of if this Digimon has Omnimon in its name, unsuspend it. So you swing in, you trash with your War Greymon, you unsuspend with a Metal Garurumon, leaving you free to do another attack in if you've still got memory, if you still maintained turn, or gives you a life blocker if you have attacked past memory, which is really nice. Then into our other kind of Greymon and Metal Garurumon, we've got the BT14 War Greymon. Both of these guys can warp on top of an Ogumon or a Greymon if your opponent's got a 10,000 DP Digimon in play, which again, really funny, because when you're warping a Greymon into a Metal Garurumon, that's quite funny. Same with these as well, but because this Greymon counts as like an extra target, depending on what it's got underneath it. But back into this War Greymon, what he allows you to do is this Digimon gains Raid for the turn, and then it may attack, so it gets kind of a pseudo blitz. And if you have a Tamer, this Digimon gains Security Attack +1 and Piercing for the turn. That's just any Tamer, doesn't matter what Tamer. But obviously, so even your Mat will, if you don't have the tie-in Mat, just Mat will do, which is quite good. But yeah, just lets you do a bit of extra checking, bit of raid. We like it. Piercing as well, really nice. The Metal Garurumon. Now, I was so tempted to put more copies of this after testing, but I found one of each of the BT14, BT15 respectively do work. But this guy is probably the one I'd possibly think about bumping up because he's very good for stalling. If you need it, it's got that same warping effect of if they've got a 10,000 DP Digimon, you can warp up into Metal Garurumon. Has evade, so he can stick on the board quite well. When Digivolving, 3 of your opponent's Digimon and Tamers can't suspend until the end of their turn, and that's what I mean, that stalling potential, because you can just stop them from being able to attack you because they can't suspend, so no attacking. You can stop them from blocking. Really, really good. Then it has that all turns effect of when this Digimon becomes suspended, you may unsuspend it. So if it swings in, it just unsuspends again, which is really cool. Really, really love it. Then going into our level 7s, let's first go into the 4 copies of Omnimon Ace. We know why he's in here. He is the main DNA focus for this deck. When we do our end of turn DNAs, we want to be going into Omnimon. We could also blast with him if we've got a War Greymon or a Metal Garurumon on the field, and then one of the counterpart in hand. Has raid and blocker on play when digivolving. If you're DNA digivolving, you choose one of your opponent's Digimon and return it and all of their Digimon with the same level as it to the bottom of the deck, and then you delete one of their Digimon. So it can basically clear an entire board if they've got the right levels out. So if, say, 4 of their Digimon are level 5 and one of their Digimon is a level 6, you can choose level 5. All of the level 5s will go to the bottom of the deck, and then you'll delete the level 6, which is really cool. Really powerful card, and can just completely mess up certain decks. Then going into our other Omnimon option, or one of our other Omnimon options, but this is specifically our other DNA option, is Alter S from EX4. Obviously this guy, we can't blast with him, but we can kind of pseudo blast with him with one of our cards. But what this guy does is very similar to the Omnimon actually. He deletes one of your opponent's Digimon with 8,000 DP or less, and then returns one of your opponent's level 6 or higher Digimon to the bottom of its owner's deck. So very similar, not as powerful, obviously much older card, but still does really good. And then the All Turns effect does not come up at all. It lets you just play out a Blitz Greymon and a Crest Garurumon, which is obviously only, applicable to its own, engine, not this engine. So we're not going to cover that. Then we've also got 2 copies of the Omnimon Alter B. Can digivolve on top of any Omnimon for a cost of 2. Otherwise, it will be on a level 6 black Digimon for 5. So it can't digivolve on top of the War Greymons and Metal Garurumons. It can only digivolve on top of our Omnimons in this deck. So do bear that in mind. But when digivolving, you de-digivolve 3, one of your opponent's Digimon, then choose any number of your opponent's Digimon so that their play cost total up to 6 and delete them, which is pretty nice. And then has a when attacking effect of by trashing up to 3 level 6 or higher cards in this Digimon's Digivolution cards among your opponent's Digimon and Tamers, delete with the one with the lowest play cost for each card trashed. if you trash 3 cards, trash the top 2 cards of your opponent's security deck. And it's that last part which is really, really good to know. If they've only got 2 security remaining, even saying that, if they've got 3 remaining, what you end up doing is your Omnimon Alter B will swing. You'll do your trashing stuff from your stack. You possibly going to be triggering overflow, of course, but it's not going to matter. You then trash 2 of their security with Omnimon Alter B's effect, trash the last security with your War Greymon inheritable, and then you swing for game. You know, they could be on, you know, they've got over half of their security left, and then you just win. You know, so he's an incredibly powerful card. And one which, when we get onto the BT20 hypotheticals, I've actually taken out, but I kind of don't want to take him out. I kind of want to keep him. So I'm going to definitely look at that. But then our last level 7 is just 1 copy of the Bond of Bravery, Ogumon Bond of Bravery. We've got more Ogumons in this than we do Gabumons, so it made sense to use this and not the Gabu Bond. Plus, the Gabu Bond is kind of wank in this deck. In like a normal Metal Garurumon list, or something like that, probably great. I mean, he bottom decks something with less sources than himself, but in this, because we don't really have that many sources, I just didn't like it. Whereas we do have some DP boosters, so therefore the Bond of Bravery is a bit better. Deletes up to this Digimon's DP total worth of your opponent's Digimon. If you've got the All-Turns effect from the Ogumon, that boosts it by 1k. It's not by much, but you know, it's there. If we've got the 3k from the Greymon though, that really does boost it up a bit. And then has a when attacking effect if you have a Tamer, trash your opponent's top security card. So you know, just a really nice card. You know, I freaking love Bond of Bravery. I keep sneaking into more and more lists. I think literally most of my profiles that I've done since LM have had this guy in them. The Blackwall Greymon profile did, the Dino one profile did, this one does. Yeah, I just really like him. He's a great card. Then going into our Tamers, we've got 4 copies of the Time Map from BT17. Has an all-turns effect of when one of your Digimon is played or Digivolves. By suspending this Tamer, if you have a Digimon with Greymon in its name, gain 1 memory. If you have one with Garurumon in its name, gain 1 memory. So if he's not suspended, you could even trigger that on your opponent's turn. But obviously just bearing in mind, you're only going to gain memory if you've got a Greymon and a Garurumon in play. The other thing he does is, or they do rather, is end of your turn, one of your Digimon with Omnimon in its name may attack a player. So you do your end of turn DNA, and then you can do your end of turn swing for game. Well, not necessarily swing for game, but just swing, which is nice. Then we've got 2 copies of the map from BT15. Reveal top 3 cards, add 1 card with Gabumon or Garurumon in its name among them to the hand, return the rest to the bottom of the deck. So just helps adding your Garurumon pieces and your Gabumons. Then your turn, when one of your Digimon effects adds cards to your hand by suspending this Tamer, gain 1 memory. So a lot of your effects, even the more Greymon centered stuff, do add cards to your hand. Obviously the Ogumon adds something from trash to hand, and it's just adding something to hand, which kind of triggers that memory. So this mat is really good to help you with your general resource management. Then our other options, we've got 1 Crimson Blaze. Obviously we do have some very wide removal in this deck, but I thought I'd put this in here anyway, because it can get rid of, it's kind of an additional thing we could do to get rid of a kind of early wide boards, as well as also stopping them from playing Digimon by effects, you know, which can potentially harm us. We've got 1 Ice Wall as well as a kind of a stalling card. All of your opponent's Digimon gain when attacking lose 2 memory until the end of their next turn. Obviously you can only play 1 copy of this because it's still on the ban list. You know, again, just a little stalling tactic that can come up for you. Then we've also got 4 of the Miraculous Mega Knights. So this one lets you play an Ogumon or a Gabumon from your hand or trash without paying the cost, and then you place this card in the battle area. And then what it does in the battle area is it is a trap card. So when one of your level 6 Digimon with Greymon or Garurumon in its name would leave the battle area outside of a battle, you delay, and that Digimon with a card in the hand may DNA Digivolve into a Digimon card with Omnimon in its name in the hand. So it just allows you to get a free Omnimon if either your War Greymon or Metal Garurumon dies. It's really good. So it basically means that if you've got this out, if they swing in first, you can blast on them and do the DNA that way. If they think to themselves, I need to delete the ace target first, then this could trigger and you just DNA anyway. So it basically kind of certifies your kind of Omnimon going off during your opponent's turn, which is really, really nice. Also has a great security effect of playing a card with Taikmiya or Map Ishida in its name from your hand or trash without paying the cost, and then you add it to the hand. Would be even better if it added itself to the battle area, I think. But adding itself to the hand is not bad either. So really good. And then the last card we've got in this deck, in this build, is 4 copies of Wisteria Memory Boost. We had to put it in because Gabumon and Omnimon are on the artwork, so therefore it is archetype specific. It's not, but anyways, what this does is essentially it's blue, obviously, but also it counts as red. So red can be used to meet its requirements. You reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 blue or red Digimon card among them to the hand, and return the rest to the bottom of the deck. Then you place this card in the battle area and gain 2 memory. So you can add almost all of your Digimon, bar 4 targets, which is the Greymon, the Alter B, the Ace, and the Alter S. Everything else is addable off of that, which really helps you with getting your pieces, and is again one of the reasons why I got rid of the kind of the black Gabumon from EX4, because the Wisteria Memory Boost can search the Garurumon pieces whilst allowing us to cycle, as well as also giving us a memory gain option, which is really cool. But that's the deck as I'm currently building it. Let's take a quick look at what I'm theory crafting, and the key emphasis on theory crafting. I don't want anyone telling me off for not testing deck lists again, because the BT20 cards aren't out yet. I've not had time. I am putting my foot down and I'm saying this is what you're about to see is untested. The EX08 stuff, tested. Good, yes. BT20, no, not tested. Hypothetical. Anyways, we're going to take a look at that now. And this is what I've come up with for the BT20 stuff. So quite different in a few different ways. Similar though as well. The rookie line is the same. A couple of changes to the level 4 line. The main one being we've got 1 less copy of the Greymon and 2 copies of the Omekamon. Now most of this Omekamon's effects will not come up, but I wanted to try it in Omnimon. So it has an on-play effect of if you have 1 or fewer security cards, this Digimon may Digivolve into an Omnimon X Antibody in the hand, ignoring Digivolution requirements and without paying the cost, which is really good. Obviously, you have to have 1 or fewer security cards, but I figured that would be a really cool thing to do if we can make use of it. I was originally thinking just 1 copy, but then I thought, oh, if it gets trashed, if it's in security, blah, 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 you know. So I figured I'd actually try it, you know, as 2 copies, so we have more of a chance of drawing into it. But I thought that'd be quite cool, you know, especially with more of the kind of BT20 stuff kind of in here. Then we mosey on down. We've gotten rid of the Alter B, the Alter S, and the Olgubond. So our level 7 line is looking a bit smaller, which I'm not too sure on yet. But there were a couple of reasons why I've done that. So the Alter B can Digivolve on top of any Omnimon in name, which is good. However, the new Omnimon X Antibody can only Digivolve on top of Omnimon specifically. So Alter B, I think I might try and get back in. But also with some of the other tech cards and utility things and combos that I'm trying to theory cast in this, it didn't seem to be room for it, which I don't know if I'm a fan of yet. And so let me know in the comments if you're a fan of that. Obviously, like I say, this list here is all theory crafting. This is not tested, and I don't want anyone saying to me that I'm not tested deck lists again, because what I'm going to do is I am going to go away and test this build after I've gotten feedback from you guys, and after, you know, before BT20 officially comes out, and I will update this list once I am properly happy with it. So I'll do a full profile on this list specifically come BT20. But the Omnimon Alter X, Omnimon Alter X. What am I? I'm now hitting my mic as well. What the hell am I doing? The Omnimon X Antibody basically is cracked. He's our first non-white Omnimon, or Omnimon X, I should say. He's blue and red. He's actually blue, white, and red. He is the colours of the UK and the US, and specifically France. A lot of people have been saying, because his colour orientation literally is the French flag, and French Omnimon is here to stay in my book. But he's got raid, piercing, blocker. He's got all the keywords on play when digivolving. If Omnimon X Antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, choose Omnimon or X Antibody, sorry, is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards. Choose one of both players' Digimon and delete all other Digimon. Then return one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of the deck. So again, it's a board clearer. So you could go Omnimon Ace into this, board clear. And actually what I found really interesting as potentially combo in this deck is that delete all other Digimon things, because I was looking at the wording of Miraculous Mega Knight, and what it does say is when one of your level 6 Digimon with Greymon or Garurumon in its name would leave the battle area outside of a battle, it doesn't say, you know, the not by an opponent's effect. It just says if it would leave other than by battle, which means Omnimon X can actually can actually delete everything on the board, trigger your own miraculous Mega Knight, and then you could DNA into your Omnimon Ace, so you'd have 2 level 7s out. That's insane. That's complete hypothetical at the moment, because obviously that is combo reliant, but that's a really cool thing I was thinking about. Like, you literally can just go delete all your stuff and then trigger your miraculous Mega Knight, which is awesome. I freaking love that. Then he has got a great end of turn effect as well, which is one of your Digimon may gain rush for the turn and attack without suspending. So that means you could actually get 2 attacks off with a suspended Digimon, or you can rush with something, which is really, really cool. It's just really good. And the attack without suspending as well, I think in this specifically, is if you manage to do that miraculous Mega Knight combo, because bearing in mind that would be interruptive, so you'd end up you trigger your miraculous Mega Knight part way through that when digivolving effect. You could then bring out your Omnimon on the field. You could give it, well, it wouldn't need the rush, granted, but you could either attack him with this or attack him with the new Omnimon. And then, because it's done without suspending, end of turn effect with the tie and mat to then do an actual attack, which I think would be really cool. So I think that would be how that works. Obviously, let me know. This is all, like I say, untested kind of stuff, dangerous stuff for me to put on the internet if it's untested. But I think that's a really cool combo in my head. To go along with this sort of the BT20 stuff as well, I've also got Cool Boy in. Now, he doesn't do overly much, which is why, again, I'm a bit tentative of him. But when any of your Digimon are played or Digivolve, any of them have the Royal Knight trait. By suspending this Tamer, draw 1 and gain 1 memory. So basically means the moment you go into your DNA, you draw 1, gain 1. The moment you go into your Omnimon X, draw 1, gain 1. Not bad at all. And then has an opponent's turn effect. When any of your Digimon with the Royal Knight trait would leave the battle area, you may play 1 Amekamon from your hand without paying the cost. So that allows us to then do the Amekamon. If we've got 1 or fewer security, we then get to DNA. We then get to go up into Omnimon X Antibody. This counts as X Antibody, which then means that all of this effect goes off. So that's my thinking there. Again, I don't know how well it'll work in principle, but I want to try it. We've also got, to kind of go along with all this stuff, is a bit of old support in BT9 X Antibody. And the reason I've gone for this is because what this can do in this deck, and rather than the Protoform, is most of the time when you've DNA'd into your Omnimon Ace, you've passed turn. So what you could do is, before you do your DNA, plonk this under one of your Digimon that will become your DNA. So under your Agumon, under your Gabumon, whatever. Plonk that underneath. Warp in your into your Wargreymons, your Megorumons. Do your DNA at the end of turn into Omnimon Ace. Do a little bit of a board clearance. Let's say it might have been a partial board clearance, because, levels can be all over the place and stuff like that. You then do your end of turn attack. You then trigger X Antibody to Digivolve up into Omnimon X. Then that clears the rest of the board. You trash, you unsuspend, you've got a massive Great Big Blocker out. So that, I think, is a cool combo as well. That I think is a reason why BT9 is better in this version than it is than a Protoform would be. The other great thing as well is, if you're going up against any Source Strip decks, Source Strip is actually a really big problem for Omnimon in general, because our stacks aren't always that big. So having an untrashable thing right in the middle of your sources can be really good, I think. So that's why I've kind of gone for that kind of hypothetical combo. And then the last card we've added in from BT20 this time is 1 copy of Last Guardian. This will just let us search our Cool Boys and our Raw Knights, our X Antibodies. So that will let us search our Amekamons, our Omnimon X, our Omnimon. So not a lot of targets, but that's why we've gone for 1 copy. The main reason, though, because the other thing as well with this being awkward, is it's 4 cost. It's white, so we can only use it if we've got a white Digimon out. Which we do have quite a few different white Digimon. We've got the Greymon, the Amekamon, blah blah blah, the Cool Boy, but it probably won't come up as much. But the other thing is that all turns effect, when any of your Digimon with Omnimon in their names would leave the battle area, one of those Digimon doesn't leave. So obviously that's just a delay effect, but that means all of a sudden Omnimon Ace has protection, so you can stop a massive overflow cost. I was really tempted to bump this up to 2, but I just couldn't justify it with that cost and the lack of being able to kind of use it consistently because it's white. Does have a good security effect though, so if it is in security, you may play one Omecamon or Cool Boy from your hand or trash without paying the cost, and then place this card in the battle area. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I think this is a good potential card just to kind of help us out a bit. In general, I might try and bump it up. I might take it out completely. Yeah, like I say, this BT20 version of the deck is completely hypothetical, and I will test it before doing a proper profile on the whole list come BT20. And I know that's not that far away to do 2 Omnimon profiles that back to back, but I was too excited to talk about French Omnimon, guys. He's beautiful. Look at him. Magnifique bastard. Look at him. But that's the deck, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know if there are any improvements you think I could make to the EX08 version of this, or let me know what kind of things you're thinking about for the BT20 version. Yeah, like and subscribe, ding that notification bell, and let us know what other deck lists you guys want to see in the near future, and what other matches you guys want to see as well. You know, just let us know whatever's going on, man. Anyways, I'm rambling. See you around. Keep it digital.